Please like this video. It will really help this story reach as many people as possible. Thank you so much for your support. I came home on a Thursday expecting nothing. No hello, no glance, just the shuffle of slippers down the hall. Hey, I started, dropping my keys in the ceramic bowl by the door. Jenna looked up from the couch, eyes flat like a dark winter pond. Uh-huh. Hi. She clicked the TV off and walked straight to the bedroom. No hug. No, how was your day? The door shut with a soft, clean click. If I'd known where it was headed, I would have skipped straight to the end. But I took the long way, like Sigda, steady, logical, believing that normal can be rebuilt if you put in the hours. The hours had been ugly lately. We'd become roommates who split the fridge by shelf. I tried dinners. I tried walking the dog together. She tried silence and acted like that was participation. I work in facilities, budget, schedules, maintenance contracts. Structure is my blood type. You learn to respect what holds a building up. Marriage should have joists. Ours had drywall taped over nothing. I knocked on the bedroom door. You ate? Not hungry. From the other side. Okay. You don't have to narrate. She rolled over the word like chewing gristle. I waited a beat. Got it. She didn't ask about my day. I didn't explain it. Story of the winter. The first crack that night wasn't even the rudeness. It was the laugh I heard when I passed the bathroom. She was leaning on the counter, phone tilted just so, dropping her voice into that soft little register she used to keep for me. It wasn't for me anymore. I shut off the kitchen light, pulled out a notebook, and started a different kind of list. Scene 1 opened in our kitchen, early Saturday. She slid through in leggings and a hoodie, hair pinned up with a pencil. No makeup, no eye contact. Jenna. I started, pouring coffee. Calendar check. For what? For life. That thing we're both technically living. She tugged the fridge door open like it owed her money. I'm busy later. How late? Late. Specific. Why? She finally looked at me. It wasn't anger. It was boredom. Because food comes out of the oven at one time, not four, I replied. If you're out, I'll plan for me. She smirked. There it is. Control. No. Logistics. I capped the thermos. I'm splitting the household budget. Grocery, utilities, mortgage, half. Personal stuff, yours. I'll send you the spreadsheet. She leaned on the island. You're hilarious. We've never done it that way. We've never done a lot of what we do now. I set my mug down. Second thing. I'm moving my clothes to the guest room. I'm up early. You sleep late. Less friction. She blinked, thrown off for the first time in weeks. When did we discuss that? We didn't. I'm setting it up. I nodded to the hall. Third. I won't be at Kara's game night next week. Those evenings are weird lately. I'll use that time differently. She smoothed an invisible thread on her sleeve. You're overreacting. Maybe. We'll measure results. I took my mug and headed out. You're being dramatic. Followed me into the hall. I stopped. No. This is me removing drama. You've got your late nights. I'll fill mine with other things. I tapped the door frame. Send your half by the 10th. She laughed under her breath. You're really doing a spreadsheet. Color-coded. I left it there. At work, Nate, the guy who keeps the HVAC alive with chewing gum and prayer, saw me in the break room. You look like you slept on a futon made of decisions, he said, ripping open a cereal bar. Moving to the guest room, I answered. The diplomatic couch. Temporary. I'm not playing counselor. I'm adjusting load-bearing walls. Translation, it's bad. She's distant. Short. Disrespect as a hobby. He made a face. Some folks go quiet when they're guilty. You sure she isn't, you know? He lifted his eyebrows, letting the sentence die. I don't make accusations without evidence. I added sugar even though I never do. But I'm not blind. Nate tilted his head. You want a name? I know a guy. Private work, clean. He does background checks for our contractors. I sipped and didn't sip. Text me. I drove home late that night deliberately. My initiative. If we were roommates, I could be a roommate who had a life. She was in bed by then, phone face down on the nightstand. Not mine, not my business, until it is. On Sunday, I set up the guest room. Quiet, spare. I moved the watch she'd given me for our 5th year into a drawer and labeled it with masking tape. Later, she passed the door while I carried boxes. You're committed, she commented. To sleep. And the spreadsheet. Sent. She smirked. We'll see. Or we won't. It's math. I kept a margin of calm so wide you could park a truck. Internally, a second list started. Timestamps, routes, the exhausted patience of a man who knows what respect should feel like. The microcliff hit when she announced from the hall, "I won't make dinner Tuesday. Don't wait up." The casual tone told me it wasn't about dinner. "Never do," I replied and texted Nate's guy. The second scene was a Tuesday in the garage. My hands were in a toolbox, cleaning torque wrenches like they were therapy. That's when her new form of pressure showed up. Mockery, stiffer than before. She walked in, car keys twirling. "Don't wait up," she repeated, like it was romantic. Noted. I kept wiping. "You don't ask where I'm going." "I don't ask rhetorical questions." She smiled. It wasn't friendly. "Maybe I want you to ask." "Then say that." "Forget it," she murmured, checking herself in the mirror we keep by the door. "You wouldn't get it." "I get schedules," I replied. "You're free tonight." "I'm free too." "Doing what?" "Counting screws." "Playing pool with Nate across town." "Now we're both busy." I set the wrench down. "Drive safe." The PI, Alvarez, called the next day, voice like gravel and old coffee. "You want basic observation first. Start there. Keep it legal." I always do. Friday he had times. Monday he had photos. Tuesday morning he asked to meet. Before I saw him, Jenna tried her first soft turn. She came into the kitchen at 7 with 2 coffees and the French toast I used to make for her. She put a plate in front of me without preface. "What's this?" I asked. "A truce," she answered. "We're off lately. I've been stressed. Work. Family. You know." "Which family? Your mom or your phone family?" I forked a corner of toast, kept my voice even. She bit her lip, then forced a smile. "You're not funny." "Sometimes I am." "I'm trying," she offered, setting the second coffee closer. "I'll cover more of the house stuff for a while. I know you've been carrying it." "That's generous," I replied. I ate a bite because I'm not a monster. "Thank you." Her eyes softened, surprised by my civility. "Maybe we can do dinner Friday? Just us. No spreadsheets." "Friday I'm at the gym with Nate," I said, not apologizing. "Saturday could work." She hesitated a microsecond. "Saturday then." I nodded, cleaned my plate, and put the dish in the sink. I didn't hug her. I didn't invite anything. You can accept a gesture without selling your border. At 10, I met Alvarez at a diner off the freeway. He slid a manila folder to me like a mechanic returning parts. "Photos. Dates, times. Nothing that'll cost you your conscience," he muttered. "But enough to answer your question." I opened it. Jenna in a sunlit cafe with Tyler, Kara's husband, leaning across the tiny table, their heads close, fingers hooked like a chain. Another, movie theater lobby, his hand on her back. Another, parking lot, near her car, an embrace that wasn't ambiguous at all. Clean shots. No shadows to hide in. Alvarez tapped a page. Repeated Tuesday and Thursday. Phone records show messages at midnight. I didn't dig deeper. Wasn't the assignment. "That's plenty," I said, hearing my voice from a far room. "You okay?" "I'm better than okay." I closed the folder. "I'm done. You want me to keep watching?" "No." I slid him the payment envelope. "We're good." The kill turn wasn't the photos alone. It was the clock in my head rewinding to her laugh in the bathroom, to my plate in the sink, to all the small resignations I'd made to keep a house standing while she burned joists in secret. I drove from the diner straight to a lawyer's office I'd already chosen 3 weeks back. Quiet, thorough. We filled out papers that same afternoon. Simple, clean. Separate property documented. Prenup archived and valid. I walked out with filings underway. On the drive home, I wondered how to deliver it. Words are cheap. Actions do the work. Then I hit the garage keypad and heard her voice through the cracked laundry room door. Loudspeaker phone. Giggle. The kind of laugh you don't fake. "On the anniversary," Jenna was saying, light as helium. "Trust me, it's poetic." Kara's voice buzzed thin. "You'll actually do it in front of everyone?" Let me pause the story for just a second. If you're still listening, please hit the like button on this video. It really helps YouTube show this story to more people. Thank you so much for the support. Now let's get back to the story. "That's the point," Jenna answered. "He won't see it coming." The look on his face? Priceless. Kara again. "You're not worried about fallout?" "Please." He's soft. He acts tough now with his rules, but he'll fold. And then I'm done. I'm not walking away empty. I didn't move. laundry detergent, and contempt. She kept talking, mapping out how she'd line people up with champagne, how the little speech about our first date would end with, "And now, I'm choosing me." The words weren't criminal. They were worse. They were petty and planned. I backed up 2 steps so the door wouldn't shadow me and went in through the front, keys loud in the bowl. I made noise on purpose, like a truck, so I wouldn't listen to more. My decision flipped. I wasn't showing my cards yet. She'd get her moment, and then I'd take the whole stage. That night, she tried to be sweet again. Dinner at our table. A candle, even. Big day coming, she smiled, twirling pasta. Hard to believe it's been 9 years. 9, I echoed. You're quiet, she probed. I heard a good joke earlier, I replied, still deciding if it's funny. She tilted her head. You going to share? Maybe later. She laughed. You're weird. She touched my wrist, the first time in weeks. Let's be good tonight. No lists. No rules. Just us. I watched her fingers, then slid my hand back to the fork. I'll do my part, no lists. She studied me, then lifted her wine and pivoted to weather talk. That was her second soft turn. Full charm, like the old days, because I'd drawn lines. I didn't lean in. I didn't push. I let it hang. I texted Nate after dishes. Can you host people on the anniversary if I need to disappear after 9? He replied with a thumbs up and a middle-aged joke about extra folding chairs. Microcliff. Kara texted me out of nowhere with a meme about old couples. It wasn't funny, but it told me she wasn't worried yet. The third scene landed at my office, midweek, when my boss Donna stuck her head in. You look like you ate a lemon, she observed. Donna could run a hospital with a binder and a stern look. Personal, I answered. Contained. You need coverage Friday? No. She nodded. You're good under pressure. Just don't carry it like it's a badge. Noted. Nate leaned on my doorway later. You're doing that calm thing that means a storm already passed, and you're just waiting for thunder. Papers are in, I said. Dang. You move faster than my ex's Amazon addiction. Don't repeat that joke to her. I warned. He saluted. You going to tell Jenna? Not until after she performs at our place. I tapped my desk. She wants public theater. She'll get it. You're going to nuke it? I'm going to end it. I looked up. Clean. With facts. He studied me. You sure you want to wait? Yes. It's strategic. She wants the hit. I'll absorb it and return it with reality. One time. He shoved his hands in his pockets. I'll be near my truck by 9. Text me if you want to ride. Appreciate it. At home that night, I locked my safe and moved 2 keepsakes to the guest room. My grandfather's compass and the watch in the masking tape drawer. I also transferred the house title copy to my office drawer because people do bold things when they think the room is theirs. I left the family photos on the wall. No need for drama. Not my style. Jenna popped into the guest room doorway. You're really staying in here tonight? Yep. You're impossible, she said, but with less bite. We good for Saturday? I got flowers. Your favorite pretzels. We're good. I flipped a page in a book that I wasn't reading. Thank you for the pretzels. She lingered. You know I'd appreciate what you do around here, right? I know what I do around here. Don't be like that. I'm being precise. She rolled her eyes, but she didn't push. Her retreat told me the bluff wasn't called yet. Another microcliff. Tyler liked a photo of her gray sweater on Kara's page, of all places, and Kara replied with a heart. People forget the internet is a glass wall. Fourth scene, Saturday morning, our anniversary. She woke before me, which meant she was acting. Pancakes, scented candle, living room furniture arranged like an open house. You look joyful, I observed in the kitchen. I was pleasant, neutral. Big day, she beamed. You know, I'm just grateful. I have a good man. Something happened? She kissed the air near my cheek. I remembered who we are. That's convenient. What? Timing. You remembering. I rinsed a plate. I'm glad you're in a good mood. She swayed to a playlist, humming. Stop being suspicious. It's not suspicion. It's pattern recognition. I dried my hands. Need anything from the store? We're fine. Kara's bringing a cheese board. Of course she is. What's that supposed to mean? That she's punctual. Don't start, Jenna warned, then softened instantly, quick pivot. I want tonight to be perfect. It will be something, I said. That was my cliff for the morning. By 6, the house filled with the right mix. My parents, her parents, neighbors, Nate and his wife, a couple from church, Kara and Tyler, who hugged us both like a politician. My dad handed me a small envelope. "Proud of you, son," he said for no reason that made sense in that moment. Maybe my posture changed. Maybe men smell resolve. Jenna floated like a hostess in a magazine. She adjusted place settings, refilled drinks, laughed at jokes I'd heard her resent a month ago. She laid a hand on my shoulder twice in front of people and held it just long enough for optics. Nate caught my eye from by the fireplace. "You good?" he mouthed. On script, I mouthed back. At 8:30, Jenna clinked her glass with a spoon. The room quieted. She slid into the little story about the coffee shop where we'd met, and the flat tire she pretended she couldn't fix so I would help. People chuckled. My mom dabbed her eye like she always does for Hallmark moments. Jenna's face softened into that "I'm the heroine" expression. And now, she lifted her glass higher. "After 9 good years, I'm ready for a next chapter. I'm filing for it." I didn't rescue her. I didn't interrupt. I let the sentence land with the microsecond of broken air. The reaction hit like a wave. "What?" From my father, Kara's nervous giggle, Tyler shifting his weight, my mother's breath catching. Donna. Yes, Donna. Because she came late with a bottle, standing at the back evaluating the whole structure like a building about to be condemned. I looked Jenna in the eye and smiled a little. It genuinely rattled her. "Mark?" she tested, waiting for my face to collapse so her story would have its climax. I kept my voice steady. "You rehearsed that well." She bristled. "This is hard for me." Nate coughed, not buying it. My dad put a hand on my shoulder. "Son, we'll handle it." I told him without looking away from Jenna. "Since we're being open, Kara, you on her team tonight?" I asked, turning to Jenna's best friend so the whole room pivoted with me. Kara stuttered, caught between reflex and fear. She's my friend." I nodded. "Does it bother you at all that Jenna's been spending her evenings touching your husband's hand at cafes and movie lobbies? Or are we ignoring that part tonight?" Silence is a living thing at parties. It crawled up the walls. Tyler lifted his chin with that smooth expression men wear when they think charm will outrun facts. Jenna's eyes flashed. "What are you talking about? Don't make things up just to." Not making things up. I reached into the sideboard drawer and pulled the manila envelope I'd placed there after work, calm like pulling napkins. I slid a few photos onto the table. "This is you, this month, on a Tuesday, at Roxy's on Maple. Your fingers are linked with Tyler's. That's you on a Thursday outside the ArcLight, his hand on your back. That's you in the parking lot near your car. Remember that day?" Kara's face went blank, then red. "Are you serious?" She rounded on Jenna. "You told me you were at your mom's." Jenna opened her mouth and nothing came out. Then she aimed at deflection. This is a misunderstanding. He hired someone to follow me. That's sick." "I hired someone to get clarity," I replied. "Clarity is healthy." People didn't know where to put their eyes. Donna stared directly, which is why she's good at her job. Nate stepped once toward me, and then stopped, domed hand over his drink like the cup needed protection from the truth. Kara's voice rose. "You're standing in my friend's house bragging about breaking my marriage." She shot a look at Tyler. "You say something." Tyler worked up a line. "This is all out of context." "Sure," I said. "The context is that my wife checked out months ago and kept me around for optics and utilities. And her plan was to humiliate me on cue so she could feel untouchable." I watched Jenna closely. "I heard you planning the announcement, by the way. Laundry room. Speakerphone. Not subtle." Jenna's jaw tightened. "You listened in?" "Accidentally, at first. Then I stood there because it showed me who you are." I turned to the room. "To be clear, I'm not here to beg for anything or to trade insults. I'm going to be simple." She stepped forward, desperate to get the room back. "We can talk about this privately," she tried. "We could have done a lot of things privately. You chose public." I pocketed the photos. "So here's the public part that matters. I filed already. It's in motion. You'll find out tomorrow when you check your email." That pulled a thrum through the guests. Her mother put a hand to her chest. My father nodded once, like, "Good." Kara started in again, words spilling at Jenna about lies and Tuesday nights and a sweater post she now realized was bait. The two of them went from sugar to steel in 8 seconds. I let it go for 60 because everyone needed to see the system, not just a bad moment, but a pattern. When the volume got ridiculous, I lifted my hand. "Enough," I said. It wasn't loud. It cut anyway. This is my house. I'm ending the evening. People quieted like someone turned the dimmer. I faced Jenna. Gather what you need for a week. I'll have your things packed tomorrow for pickup. You'll stay at your mom's or wherever you like. Tyler can handle the fallout he created in his own home. I won't host it here. She stared, then tried the last card. Pity. Mark, please. I wasn't. I don't know what I was doing. I was angry, and I wanted to feel. You wanted to feel powerful. I finished. And the easiest way was to step on the one person who didn't make a game out of this. That ends now. Tears came because tears often do when control fails. I made a mistake. You made a series of decisions. You get a series of consequences. Can we talk tomorrow? She whispered. No. You're being cruel. I'm being final. I turned to the guests, polite host to the end. I'm sorry for the show. Thank you for coming. Please give us a few minutes. My mother hugged me on her way out, whispering, proud. Donna squeezed my forearm as she passed, professional approval. Nate stayed last, nodded once, and said, truck's out front if you need air. I'm good. I tilted my head toward the kitchen. Give us 5. He left. I faced Jenna again. You heard me, I repeated. Pack. Now. She moved slowly, like thick water, into the bedroom. I heard drawers. I heard the zipper on the suitcase I bought for the Florida trip we never took. She came back out in a denim jacket, clutching her phone like a life vest. This is insane, she tried again at the door. What's insane is that you thought I wouldn't notice you taking my respect and pawning it for applause. I opened the door. Don't forget your charger. She stepped onto the porch and stopped. I'll call you, she said, soft as the first week we dated. Don't. You won't even hear me out? I heard everything that mattered through a laundry room door. I paused. You wanted a moment I couldn't live down. Here's mine, keys. I extended my hand. She stared, then placed them in my palm, each one a clink on the tile. I shut the door gently and locked it. Then I picked up empty plates and stacked them because buildings need cleaning after a demo. That night I texted Nate. I'm fine. Thanks. He replied with a thumbs up and a photo of his dog asleep on a shoe. The 5th scene was quieter. The morning after, she hit me with a dozen messages, all versions of please and I didn't mean it, and we can fix this. I replied once, we're done. Coordinate pickup through your mother. She switched to long paragraphs about our history. I put my phone face down and went for a drive. On the way back, Kara rang. I let it go to voicemail, then listened in the driveway. Mark, I'm furious and embarrassed, and I don't know what to say. I had no idea. I'm dealing with my own situation, she said, the bravery brittle. For what it's worth, you didn't deserve last night. For what it's worth, I muttered to the windshield. You ignored every sign like it came with a bow. I didn't call back. Not my ministry. At noon, I packed Jenna's things, labeled boxes, inventory list, basic decency. I put her mail in a folder and slid it in the top. Her mother came by at 2 with tight lips and an apology on the threshold. I didn't raise her till she stopped. The sentence had too much weight. We all miss sometimes, I answered. You can park in the driveway. She nodded, tearful but not performative, took half the boxes, and promised to return with a cousin for the rest. I made sure the house felt like a house when she left. Windows cracked for fresh air, dishwasher running, the dog snoring on the rug as my one constant. Jenna kept texting through the week. Monday, I'm lost. Tuesday, can we meet at the park? Wednesday, a photo of the French toast again, like a talisman. I didn't respond. Silence isn't revenge. It's a boundary with a spine. She tried a final swing, an apology that mentioned mistakes were made like the mist did it. I archived it. I wasn't counting anything anymore. A month later, it was done. Papers signed. She got none of my premarital assets. The house stayed mine. She kept whatever she had under her name. Clean. No fireworks. No little victories posted online. Just closure. She moved back in with her parents in a small town 40 minutes away. Word spread like it always does, not because I talked, because people were in my living room when reality showed up. Tyler did what men like him do. Minimized, dodged, tried to hold 2 worlds until both dropped him. Kara changed her locks. That wasn't my story. I didn't even ask for an update. It found me anyway via neighbors who like lawn talk and gossip in equal parts. Jenna still sends the occasional long message that starts with, I see now, and ends with, "If we could just meet." I don't answer. Sometimes strength is saying nothing where you used to say too much. Final and epilogue. It's simple. I didn't become a monk. I built a better routine. I sold the couch that hosted our last conversation, replaced it with a simple leather one that doesn't try too hard. I started mountain rides with Nate at dawn on Sundays. Donna tapped me for a bigger role, more buildings, more budgets, a raise that landed because I wasn't distracted all the time. I bought a used truck I'd wanted for 5 years and kept it clean. 2 months after, I bumped into Claire from a vendor training. She's practical, funny, and her favorite word appears to be no, which I respect because it signals a spine. We grab coffee on Saturdays. I don't make promises. I don't perform. I tell her exactly what I can give and what I won't tolerate. She does the same. It feels like adults designing a bridge, not kids carving initials into a tree and hoping the tree doesn't fall. People ask if I miss Jenna. I miss the idea I had of her. But the idea wasn't who she decided to be. 9 years isn't a small thing. It taught me this. The most expensive thing you can hand someone is the power to disrespect you without cost. I stopped paying. Last week I got a photo from my dad. Him on my back deck, beer on the rail, one, that's his limit, sunset lighting the fence. He wrote, "House looks solid." It is. Not because the paint's new, because the frame is. A final note landed in my inbox yesterday from Jenna. "I'm sorry. I keep thinking about that night. If I could take it back." You can't take back a performance once the curtain's closed. You can only learn not to audition for that role again. I didn't reply. I set my phone down, whistled for the dog, and locked the door on my way out. Our story has come to an end. If you've made it this far, how about subscribing to our channel? It helps us immensely. I've selected 2 other videos for you that I'm sure you'll enjoy. Feel free to click on them. I'll be waiting for you in the next story. See you soon.